What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amir, but you can call me Z, and what's up? I'm back with another makeup tutorial. You guys absolutely love my makeup tutorials, so why not give you guys an updated no makeup routine. This is my everyday routine that I wear to work, keep myself looking alive, keep myself looking good, although I'm sleepy. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. Please don't forget to leave me a comment if this is helpful, and let me know if you want any more tutorials on anything. Actually, anything beauty, I'm open to it. Please remember, this is my routine. This does not have to be your routine. This is just what works for me, and I get so many questions about my makeup routine. I have so many different routines. This just happens to be my natural everyday go-to makeup routine. No foundation is included. But let's stop yapping and let's get right into today's makeup tutorial. Alright y'all, let's get right into today's tutorial. I'm super excited because I have found the perfect everyday routine for me, especially being a corporate girly, being up at the crack of dawn. I don't need to put on a full face of makeup, so I found something that's cute, simple, but does the job, makes me look alive, makes me look cute, presentable, all of the above. Let's get right into it. I'm super excited. This is an easy step-by-step tutorial. I will link all of the products that I use in the description of this video, and it'll also be linked in my link tree. Not to mention, my most viewed and most liked video on my entire YouTube channel is my no makeup routine from about maybe a year or two ago. So it's time to give you guys an updated routine since you love it so much, and I'm super excited because I think if you like that one, you'll like this one, and I've definitely advanced my makeup skills. So props to me, but woo girl. But let's get right into it. First things first, the most important thing about having a flawless makeup look is your skincare. I have already prepped my skin, and I have my skincare routine posted already on my YouTube page if you're interested. I also have it on my TikTok, all of my platforms. I share everything everywhere. However, so my skin is already prepped. The first step is doing my brows. If you know me, if you've seen the last couple of my makeup videos, I do not do my brows on camera. I get anxious, I'm blind, I have to be up in the mirror. So I'm gonna do my brows real quick, and I'm gonna come back and I will tell you guys all the products that I use for my brows, and then we'll get right into the meat of the makeup tutorial. Okay guys, I have finished my brows, and this was probably the quickest I've ever done my brows, so let me tell you what I used to do them. So to fill in my brows, to trace my brows, I used the Morphe brow pencil in the shade Java. This I believe is in the micro pencil. It's very thin, it's very easy to use, easy to work with. I just follow the shape of my brows. I carve out the bottom, carve out the top, fill it in, and I brush it up. I'm not too harsh on my brows just because I want my brows to be very natural, and I used to do my brows super bulky, super big, and again, I was learning. So here we are, but I brushed them out, fluffed them out, used the Morphe brow pencil, which is my go-to. I think in my last routine I used the Anastasia brow dip or brow pomade, but I had to go back to my roots and use the Morphe brow pencil. This pencil is superior. To conceal my brows, I used the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in the shade Caramel. This is my go-to. This by far has never failed me. This is the best concealer ever. One of the best concealers ever. I will always have one of these in my makeup bag. I actually need to get a new one because she's pretty empty. To trace, I use like this little flat, I guess like brush. I don't know, my aunt gave it to me a couple years ago, and it's been doing its job since. She's fallen apart a little bit, but until I find one that's as good as her, I'm using this one. It just makes it easy to trace out the brows and to get everything and not get concealer everywhere. So that's what I use. I use a flat brush. I use an NARS concealer. I use the Morphe brow pencil. That's my brow routine. Now let's get into the rest of this face. First things first is primer outside of brows. Primer, it's important that you have a good primer. I have combinations, so oily and dry skin. I get really oily in my T-zone sometimes, and then the rest of my face is pretty dry. For my primer today, I'm gonna use the Refi Glow and Sculpt primer. You can see she's definitely loved. I need a new one. I didn't do everything. Don't judge me, okay? I'm gonna go in with this. And it has, one thing I love about this primer is it has like this roll-on applicator. So you just squeeze and roll it on, so it reduces the amount that you have to rub in. But to get into like the crevices and everything, I typically go back in with my hands anyways. And I don't like my face feeling like it's just product sitting on it and it's not being rubbed in. So let's go in with our primer. She's very much loved. She's very much loved. She's available at Sephora, by the way. Okay, we got it. Go in with some primer. And again, this is my everyday routine for work. No matter what kind of makeup face you're doing, it's important to prime. It's very important to prime, especially if you want your makeup to last all day. Typically work hours are what? 8-hour shifts, baby girl. If somebody told you you don't need a prime, they lying to you. Go prime. So once the primer's on, I go back in and I just rub everything in. I just like when my skin feels like everything's actually sinking in, you know, not sitting on top of my skin, because then that's when your makeup starts looking crazy. Here we are. So my next step in my everyday work routine is color correcting. I have like these dark spots because I get these random pimples or random bumps on my face that come during my time of the month, and I scar very easily. So I have like these scars on my face because my skin is clear. Just have these scars that really get on my nerves, and they're really harsh and it's hard to get rid of them. So if you have any techniques, if you have any products, let me know. I have Good Molecules discoloration serum, and I have the niacinamide toner and the serum. So if you have anything else, let me know. But we're gonna go in with some red color corrector to kind of cancel out the darkness underneath my eyes, and as well as some of my dark spots from my scars. So this is the LA Girl Pro Conceal Concealer. You can find this at your local beauty supply, or you can find it at Target, Ulta. It's literally everywhere. It might be even available at like Dollar Tree, but she's an OG. So I'm gonna let that dry for a few minutes, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna blend her out. So to blend out my color corrector, I'm gonna go in with a beauty blender. I personally don't care for like the damp beauty blender, but it's not fully dry either. It's just like it's at its natural state. You know what I'm saying? You can tell that it's been wet before, but it's not like the full damp. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not a damp beauty blender type girl. Dry over damp. So I'm gonna take this and I'm just gonna lightly tap this in, because you don't want to blend this in too much to where it fades away. That defeats the purpose of it covering up those scars. So lightly tapping in where you place that color corrector. You can see after blending out the color corrector that my skin just looks more even. You can't really see like the dark circles underneath my eye. It balances out the darkness in my dark spots on this side of my face. Using color corrector is not a mandatory step. I just prefer it just because I'm not using foundation in this routine, so I like to hide those scars. So now that everything is blended, the next step is going into some concealer. Today I'm using the Hourglass concealer. I have two different shades. One of them is more of a light toner, so kind of give that bright under eye, and then the other one's kind of to balance out. I'm using the shade Maple and Flax. Going in with Flax first. This is the lighter shade. Putting that directly underneath my eye. You do not need a lot. You do not need a lot, especially with this concealer. It pulls a lot of product. So underneath my eye and on my nose, and a little bit on my forehead and the top of my lip. Then we're gonna go in with the more neutral tone shade. This is in the shade Maple, and I'm gonna put this right underneath where I put the brighter concealer, just because I want it to even out and I don't want to look like a ghost. So we're gonna let our concealer set, and to do that we're gonna go in with the next step. While our concealer's drying, we're gonna go in with the Merit Beauty. This is the Minimalist stick. This is kind of like a foundation / concealer stick, depending on what shade you get. You could really use this stick for anything. I'm gonna use it as kind of sort of a foundation. It can be used for literally anything depending on what shade you get. I have two shades here just because I wasn't able to find one that matched my skin perfectly. So we're gonna go in with these two, and we're literally just gonna put this on. Like you can just see, it just glides on. It's very soft, it's very easy, and it blends beautifully. So this is in the shade Amber. This is clutch if you're like just trying to hurry up and put something on your face because you're running out the door. Now I'm going in with the darker shade, which is so funny because when I first got these sticks, this shade was kind of like too light because it might have been summertime. But now that we have that down, we're gonna go in with some setting spray. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. We all know about the setting spray. It's the best setting spray in the market. So while the concealer is drying, we're gonna go in with this e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush that I got from Target. And we're blending out the complexion stick. Do not touch your concealer yet. Let it set, let it dry. But we're gonna blend out our, I'm such a hypocrite. I said don't touch the concealer and I touch the concealer. Good God Almighty. You can just see how beautifully that blends out. Like if you're really on the move or you're not really a makeup girl, like that stick literally does wonders. Like you literally just put it on, blend it out, and you're good. Like you're literally good. Now that we have our complexion stick all blended out, it's time to blend the concealer. So here's my hack to blending my concealer flawlessly. I start off with a brush. This is the Real Techniques concealer brush. I'm not sure if they sell this particular brush anymore. I got it from Marshall's, not gonna lie. But I first start by patting in the concealer with the brush, very lightly, getting rid of like those harsh lines because it's been sitting there for a little bit. So I blend out the edges and I blend it in an upward motion. If you watch any of my tutorials, you know. Blend that out first, and I try to blend out where their concealers are the same color first, so I'm not carrying the wrong color, you know, bringing the light down here and all that stuff. Yeah. Once the darker shade is blended, now we're gonna go in with the lighter shade, lightly tapping, do not drag. Lightly tapping. I'm gonna take my beauty blender and just kind of blend that out, make it a little bit more airbrush looking. I like to use both because it just makes everything look completely flawless. And then we're gonna use our beauty blender and just blend on our nose bridge, not too harsh. And then if you have to kind of go back and forth, do so. On the forehead, I do not use the beauty blender just because I feel like the brush does exactly what I needed to do, which is blending it outward. Don't take it too far because you don't want your forehead to look bigger than what it is. All right, now that our concealer is looking flawless, it's time to go in with cream contour. I'm going in with the Say Beauty. This is in the shade Sail. I think this is their darkest shade. But for this contour, I put it on my hand first, and then I use a brush to blend it out just because I feel like I have more control when I do that. So I have like this dense brush that I got from my mom's room. Don't ask me where it's from, I don't know. And I just tap into the product and I just lightly blend it out in kind of like the contour area right on the cheekbone. This contour is so beautiful, like it's so gorgeous. I love it so much. And then I take whatever product's left and I go in and I contour my nose a little bit, and then I also take whatever's left and I kind of blend it on my eyes just to add a little bit more depth into my face, give it more of like that natural feeling. And because it's cold, I like to have like the cozy, what's that, espresso makeup look sometimes. And I don't do eyeshadow, so I'm not an eyeshadow girl. So you can see I have the cream contour is giving. So now I'm gonna go in with my cream blush. I'm actually gonna use these Mirror Beauty blush bombs. I have two shades here, but I think I'm gonna go in with the Raspberry Beret. It's kind of like this really pretty, I guess like purpley pinkish color. It's not too harsh, but it looks so beautiful on my skin. And I just use the butt of my beauty blender and I rub it in. And I lightly pat that on my cheeks. It's so beautiful, and the nice thing about it is it dries down as like a powder. Like it doesn't dry as like a liquid blush. It's so innovative and it's so beautiful. Like if you want to just wear this by itself, you don't have to worry about trying to set it with a powder on top. You could just literally wear it as it is. And I put a little on my nose and on my eyelids. So before we go in with powders, now that we're all done with creams, we're gonna go in with another layer of setting spray. This is what keeps your makeup lasting all day at work, hon. So to set my under eyes, I'm gonna go in with the Laura Mercier translucent powder. This is my favorite setting powder ever, and I stand by buying the mini just because I travel a lot and trying to carry that big thing, and it's already messy as it is. So I stand by the mini. The mini gets the job done, and it's cheaper, and I can take her anywhere. So when I do my setting powder, I tap my powder puff in the setting powder, and then I also tap it on my hand just because you don't need that much powder when you first set, especially because we're not baking. This is a natural look, no makeup routine, so you don't need to set or bake. So now that I've tapped, I'm gonna take the remainder and just pat it underneath my eyes, anywhere that I put concealer, and it just mattifies it, and it just, so gorgeous. I love the setting powder down. It's an OG. It's an OG. She gets the job done. The same on both sides. Literally pat, do not swipe. On the nose, everywhere that you put concealer, you want to put some powder, hun. See, you see it? Thank you. The next step, or the next powder that I'll be using, is the Sephora Micro Smooth. This is in the shade Toffee. This is my exact skin color. I use this to set that complexion stick that we use from Mirror Beauty, just because it is a cream, so I feel like creams need to be set. You don't have to, but I do. So I'm gonna go with this, and this also just makes the makeup look completely flawless. It blends everything in beautifully and allows it to look more natural than it does like, oh, you have on makeup. So, and I will say too, I've worn this makeup routine to work a few times, and people just kept telling me how beautiful my skin looked, and I'm like, honey, it's a little bit of makeup, but thank you. Now for bronzer, we're gonna go in with the Juvia's Place bronzer palette. I believe this is the medium one, but I'm going in with the bottom shade here. And I'm just using like a loose brush because you don't need nothing super dense, but you also don't need nothing super big because you also want to be able to control where you put this. And I'm just bringing back that warmth to my face. I'm putting it everywhere I put contour. Literally, it's so easy, you guys. It's so easy. So easy. Again, going over my eyes a little bit, add a little bit more depth.
Supposed to be on mute, but you are so goddamn beautiful.
Thank you, baby. Now going in with powder blush. This is the OG, the Juvia's Place palette. This is the dupe for the Dior one. I'm going in with this hot pink color up top. And I'm just gonna put that on top of the Mirror Beauty blush. You don't need a lot because this is very pigmented. And also, I know I said you don't need to set, but because I just love this blush combo with the cream and the powder, I'm gonna do it. You don't have to, but you can easily just leave it how it is, or you can add more of the Mirror Beauty blush on top. Like, look at that. Please. This got to be one of my favorite makeup routines ever. And this is why I do it every day. And the thing is, like, my makeup routine changes all the time because I'm just always finding new products and I have to share it with you guys. Now that we have all of our powders, we're gonna go and set again. Now for our second to last step, I'm going in with some mascara. I'm using the Fenty Beauty Hella Thick Mascara. This by far has been the best mascara ever. Makes my eyelashes look like I have on falsies. So Rihanna did her big one with this one. So I usually do maybe 2 layers depending on how much time I have, but I also wear glasses. So sometimes I try not to do too much because I don't want it to get on my lenses. But I just go in very lightly. Nothing too crazy. Now, depending on how I'm feeling and how much time I have, sometimes I go in and do bottom lashes, but today we're not gonna do that because I am gonna put my glasses back on. So the last step will be my lip combo. Because I'm doing a more of a natural look, I typically don't do a lip liner and lipstick and all that stuff. I just go in with whatever gloss is handy. Today is the e.l.f. lip oil. I believe this is in the peachy shade, so it's like that orange shade. Just take a gloss and call it a day. You don't need, I mean, if you want to do that, that's just not me. That's just not what I do in this routine. But here we are. The lip gloss did what it needed to do, did it not? Did it not? What do we think? Alright, you guys, that is the end of today's makeup tutorial. I'm so in love with this tutorial and I hope you will be too. You do not have to use all the products that I did. Just take the techniques, everything that I taught you about how to blend, when to blend, setting, all that stuff. You don't have to have all the same products. I will link all the products down in the description. They'll also be in my link tree if you're interested in purchasing these products. I will leave my shades and everything, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. I hope this one was as good as the first one that I did because y'all love that one. This one, I just feel like I've grown, I've matured, I've learned, I've gained some skill. Like, obviously you guys trust me with the makeup, so. But if this is not fit for you, if this is too much makeup for you, let me know because I can give you another tutorial with less products and less steps. This is just what I like. This is my go-to look. This is what I do every day for work. Keeps me looking alive, keeps me looking good. If this video was helpful, please leave a like, comment, and please subscribe. And if you post any pictures with the makeup that you did using my tutorial, please tag me. I'm happy to post, I'm happy to like, I'm happy to share, I'm happy to show all the love, because why not? Because I'll be so happy to know that this was helpful for you. So yeah, that's the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed, beautiful. Until next time, my advice of today is literally get off your butt and do what you're called to do, please. Stop procrastinating, because procrastination is disobedience in slow motion. Sincerely, Z. Bye, guys.